So we are looking at how do we save expenses because maybe our businesses aren't bringing in the type of revenue that allow us to have offices. And it's so interesting to me because I'm not 100% sure that men go to the same lengths to sort of set up their homes. They will look for a space that suits them. They will find a way to generate that extra revenue so that they have a private space. And I think that we can learn a lot from our male counterparts on how to set yourself up for success when it comes to business. What do you think about that?
Yeah. And there's a lot of studies that prove exactly what you said. And so I think we should talk about that a little bit more about the mindset and the approach to business.
Yes.
One thing that has been proven is that women tend to play smaller. We have a different rule book, mental rule book that we play by that is led with fear.
Yes.
Whereas men come together and they help each other. I'm talking in generalities, but they come together and they help each other. And the best thing that we can do for ourselves as women is to surround ourselves with other people, not just women. We have to be playing with other successful people, which usually include men too.
Yes.
So paying attention to what are they doing differently that's allowing them to have a faster rate of success, of growth, and being open to that. And then the next part of that is being aware of what are we doing to hold ourselves back? What's the
Yeah.
story we're playing in our head,
Yes.
such as I'm not smart enough. I'm not working hard enough. I'm not capable. I don't have the time. I'm raising a family. Whatever it is, what are the stories that you're playing in your head that are keeping you playing at a level that you don't want to play at? You really want to play at that 7, 8, maybe even 9-figure place,
Yes.
but you don't know how. And so you're doing all this crazy stuff out there
Yep.
and you're running yourself ragged. And then you're playing that playbook of, I'm so busy. I don't have time. I don't have time. In fact,
Yes.
I have someone who has recently come into my orbit. I'm not going to say how, but she has come into my orbit and she's a newer business owner and she's running herself ragged. She bought a business
Mm.
and she decided to keep her other job, her full-time job,
Mm.
while she's running this business, her new business that she and her husband bought. And the first thing I told her is I've owned businesses for almost 3 decades. I've worked with hundreds, if not thousands of entrepreneurs. And one thing I know is if you are spreading yourself too thin, you will never be successful. You
Yeah.
have to dive all the way in, jump all the way in. If you decide to go out on that limb, start a business, you need to do everything possible to make it successful. And so with that, you need to mentally tell yourself, this is it. This is what I'm doing. You
Yep.
need to know where the hell you're going. What is it that you really want? What's it look like when you get there? Be
Yeah.
really clear and build that roadmap. And then the third thing that is imperative is find those who've already done it.
Yes.
And go and learn from them. I can't tell you how, and this is so not a sale. It's have coaches that can show you people that you're paying because you're not paying them. They're not going to be around that much,
No.
right? So
Right.
take it seriously and do everything to set yourself up for success.
Midori, it's so funny. This advice applies at so many different levels. As you were talking, I just was thinking so much about the qualities that make women so amazing and special. It's that we are able to, like hold a basket of our lives where it's, we know everything that's going on with our kids. If they're in school, we know when their assignments are due. We know when everybody's everything is due. We have it all in our minds. And it's so amazing because so many people rely on us for it. It's a superpower. And it is actually a negative when it comes to building a business for the exact reason that you said. When we're doing too much, we can't focus. And so, like, that is the critical success factor. We're in a lot of ways, and I hate to say this, it's like almost like business entrepreneurship in a lot of ways goes against our nature, right? And so I think that's why it's so difficult to sort of overcome that because we do these things naturally and we're juggling all the balls and we don't want to drop any of them because they are all so meaningful to us in one way or another. And and this idea of being able to have a vision and going all in and going for it, it applies when like your client when they're just bought a business, they have to focus. It also applies when women get to that next level that we were talking about before. They're past that $1,000,000 mark. They might not even have thought that they could get there. So like what's that next vision for them? And how do you at that level go all in on what's next?
Yeah, it's a constant evolution. It is, and you have to become a new person
Mm,
at that new level, right? So the CEO that you are at a six-figure business is
mm,
much different than the CEO that you'll become when you're at a seven-figure business.
yeah,
And there's a lot of variation in between there. And in fact, when you get to that seven-figure business, you probably or you might not be the right person for the CEO and your role should change,
you're right.
right? And so being clear on that, again, talking with those people who already are there, who can simplify it for you.
Yeah.
As women, this is, I think, just it goes back generations, is that
Mhm.
we're so used to holding the basket, as you
Yeah.
said, right?
Yeah.
And juggling so many different things. But in business, you're not effective when you're doing too much of that, right?
Right.
And so being laser focused on where am I going? How do I do this? And then what's the playbook look like?
Mm,
Right? So having that playbook from someone who's already been there and can tell you, stop doing this. You're wasting your time or delegate that.
yes.
This is where you want to be putting all your eggs. This is where you're going to be focused because this is where we're going and this is how you're going to get there. And all of a sudden, when you have that roadmap and that clarity from someone who's already done it, so they've proven the process, everything becomes easier.
Yeah.
And to get to that six, seven, eight-figure mark isn't so hard, but because you've figured out the roadmap. But when you're
Mm,
trying to build it yourself, and when you are playing those recordings over your head, I can't afford this. I'm not capable. I'm too busy. Whatever the crap is that you're telling yourself, you won't get there. If you're telling yourself you don't have the time, the money, whatever it is, guess what? You don't.
yeah.
Whereas if you have someone who I just went through this, I just made a call with this guy who I never thought I could ever touch, right? He's just so high level. And I was
Mm,
on a call with them, and what was supposed to be a 45-minute call ended up being an hour and a half. And he opened up my eyes to whole new possibilities that I never thought was possible.
hmm,
And the thing that he did was that he laid out the playbook.
mm,
And all of a sudden I could envision, I'm like, oh, it's not so hard. I just didn't know how. I was
right.
into it. And so now we're playing that playbook out and it's not scary anymore because I've built so many businesses. I know, just like you said, Adrian, before our call, you were so successful in the corporate market, but as an entrepreneur, it's different. It's a different
Yes.
place.
It's a different playbook. You're right. It's a different game.
It's a different game. It's different language. There's different acronyms. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. Like when I talk to you about being in the corporate world, that's foreign to me because I've always been an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And so with my groups that I have, I'm shifting a little bit, but with the groups that I have, I bring in women who came from corporate. Maybe they haven't had a really successful business yet, but there's so much as entrepreneurs that we can learn from those executives
Yes.
who played that and then vice versa, right? So it's a really helpful marriage to have in there for us to learn from one another to
Yes.
play differently. So I think you have a superpower with the experience that you've had.